So I serve as the President and CEO of Student Veterans of America, or SVA for short, is a grassroots, student-centric, chapter-based organization that empowers veterans in higher education to, through, and beyond their journey in school. We do an incredible amount of research. So last year we published our National Veteran Education Success Tracker, which was a comprehensive look at the efficacy of the post 9/11 GI Bill. In addition, we also led the charge up Capitol Hill to pass the Forever GI Bill, a $3.45 billion expansion, enhancement, improvement of the GI Bill. Our generation, the single biggest thing that transitioning service members are doing is transitioning from the military to higher education. Just over half of all transitioning service members do so. There's 1.1 million of us in college right now, so we want to ensure that those student veterans have access to peer support groups or really just groups of other veterans to help expand their networks on college campuses. So we want to make sure that they're making smooth transitions into their careers and successful civilian lives post-graduation. Sorry, I was at the back of the room. So Student Veterans of America is an organization that just celebrated its 10th birthday on January 11th of this year. But we're an idea that was born out of the concept that we could mobilize veterans of our generation, the post 9/11 generation, on college campuses and in key districts throughout the United States to pass something that was very key to a then Senator Chuck Hagel that is in the room, the post 9/11 GI Bill. We were born out of the idea that if we come together and focus on the solutions to problems, that there really wasn't much that we couldn't accomplish. After 10 short years, an original group of 20 chapters grew to over 1,500 chapters in all 50 states and 4 countries overseas. Where there is an SVA chapter at present, there are a little over 700,000 student veterans on those campuses of the 1.1 million veterans currently using the GI Bill. If we add family members to that, it's 1.3 million. But the idea of veterans coming together to harness the transformative power of higher education is not a new one for our generation. It goes all the way back to the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944. The original GI Bill of Rights. And that GI Bill provided for the first time for a country to provide education for a returning generation from fighting in Europe and the Pacific, where the average level of education before they joined was 8th grade. They had the ability to fundamentally alter the landscape of higher education and democratize higher education for all generations. That said, when we look at today's student veterans, they're performing markedly well, but we're standing on the shoulders of giants. We've talked an awful lot about Vietnam veterans, but they've ensured that ours is a generation that returned home to an understanding of who we are, what we've done, and the potential that we have. Now, Ken mentioned earlier tonight that he enlisted in 1981. I was born in 1982. But at 35, even my generation, I'm kind of old. There's a young man in the back of the room, a HillVets 100, and the Student Veteran of the Year, a good friend of mine named Chris Rolfe, and he just won Student Veteran of the Year out of the 1.1 million veterans in higher education, and he was born in 1992. Forever GI Bill is a good concept because it demonstrates what we can do together. Over 60 organizations came together, led not by SVA, but by the Tiger team. So I'd like to call out our sisters and brothers in arms from the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the American Legion, Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, Got Your Six, Student Veterans of America, and Vietnam Veterans of America. You would not think that Vietnam Veterans of America would be part of this coalition, but today, of all days, it's important to understand that they were pivotal to being the shoulders on which we stand. And I'd finally like to close out with a special thanks to my favorite Vietnam veteran, my father-in-law, an infantry Marine who served in Vietnam, and the guy that provided me the best gift I've ever gotten, my wife, Shayla Lyon. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it.